Welcome to Charlotte Motor Speedway, home of the 8th race of the NASCAR Hot Wheels Cup Series here in Season 1. It's been a great season so far, a lot of competitive racing, and we hope to see some more here today. The chase is heating up with only 2 races after Charlotte today before we get to the cutoff. It's worth mentioning drivers on the cut to look out for: Chase Elliott, Brad Keselowski, Kurt Busch, and Ryan Newman and Kyle Larson are all hovering around the cut line. They need to have good days if they want to solidify themselves as chase contenders. Our pole sitter here today is Kurt Busch. He is one of those chase contenders, so far he's off to a good start. Let's go ahead and take a look at cars to watch. Speaking of our pole sitter, Kurt Busch, it of course is Kurt Busch in the 41 car from Stewart-Haas. He was good last week at Michigan. He had a 4th place finish, his second top 5 of the season. Look for him to try and carry that over here today. Next up, it's Martin Truex Jr. He's got 1 win on the season, which came at our other mile-and-a-half track, Texas Motor Speedway. So he looks to see if he can continue his mile-and-a-half dominance in the NASCAR Hot Wheels Cup Series here today. And then it's the 31 of Ryan Newman. He's a driver that is just a few spots in when it comes to the chase. He's been better in recent weeks. Look for him to have a solid showing here today. Here's the race format. 8 races of 2 cars will make up Stage 1. 4 races of 2 cars will make up Stage 2. And Stage 3 will be 2 races of 2 cars each. The winners will advance and battle it out for the win. We're going to go ahead and take a look at today's track. It's worth noting that the regular season race for the Monster Energy Cup Series at Charlotte is the longest race of the year. That's the case here too. This is the longest track the cars will face all season. It's an extended version of Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's worth mentioning. You can see here it's a long sweeping turn. About 8 feet of track have been added to this thing to make it the longest we'll see all season. It'll be shortened when we come here in the playoffs. It's worth mentioning. Anyway, here we go with Stage 1 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Let's take a look at our matchups. The car that qualified first will face the car that qualified 16th. The car that qualified second will face the car that qualified 15th, and so on. So you can see Kurt Busch is facing Kyle Larson, who qualified 16th. Hope that makes sense for y'all. Our first matchup today is going to be the pole sitter Kurt Busch taking on the 42 of Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson and Kurt Busch both on the chase cutoff, as it were, right now, and Kurt Busch absolutely dominates the race. He takes home the Stage 1 win. Kurt Busch is off to a good start. Kyle Larson's struggles continue here. Kasey Kahne versus Martin Truex Jr. Kasey Kahne qualified 15th, got out to the early lead, but couldn't hold on to it. Martin Truex Jr. takes home the win. Now we have qualifying third Joey Logano versus the 21 of Ryan Blaney qualifying 14th. Logano gets the early lead. He'll hold on to it. Logano's had a great season so far. He's finished in the top 6 of 7 races so far. He's moving on to Stage 2 for the 6th time this year. Now it's Stenhouse getting the early lead on Kyle Busch, but Kyle Busch comes back. He qualified 4th today. So far, the cars that have qualified faster have done really well. Now it's teammates. Kenseth versus Hamlin. Neck and neck. Hamlin pulls away. Hamlin qualified 5th, and he wins. It's worth noting that the car that qualified higher will always be in that bottom lane where Jimmy Johnson is right now. Hendrick Motorsports teammates face off. Dale Earnhardt Jr., after a runner-up finish a couple weeks ago in Watkins Glen, continues to struggle. Now it's Chase Elliott versus Brad Keselowski. Keselowski gets the early lead. Chase Elliott brings it back with the win here. Chase Elliott, like we said, needed a good day. He has it. Keselowski falls farther below the cut line right now. Kevin Harvick, last week's winner, defeats Ryan Newman. So good win for the 4 car. He qualified 8th. That's the end of Stage 1, and we're going to head straight into Stage 2. Worth noting that you notice the bottom lane was always winning. That's because the bottom lane cars had the inside line, which is the faster line. The cars that qualify better do get the faster line, as they would in real life in regular NASCAR racing. So you can see here the 41 will take on the 4 in our first race. Again, Stewart-Haas teammates. Harvick with the early lead, but Busch brings it back to win. Nice win for the 41 of Kurt Busch there. He takes home the Stage 2 win, is heading to Stage 3 again. Now it's the 24, Chase Elliott versus Martin Truex Jr. Elliott with the lead. Martin Truex Jr., however, brings it back. He continues to show dominance at mile and a half here in the NASCAR Hot Wheels Cup Series. Logano versus Johnson, 2 heavyweights this season, but it's going to be Logano heading to Stage 3 once again. The 22 continues to dominate the NASCAR Hot Wheels Cup Series circuit. Now the 18 and Denny Hamlin face off. They're teammates, and it looks like the 18 is going to hold on for the win. Kyle Busch, in search of his second win this season, is advancing to Stage 3. We've got 4 different teams represented in Stage 3, it's worth mentioning. Stewart-Haas is represented by the 41. He'll face his brother from Joe Gibbs Racing, the 18. The Furniture Row Racing's Martin Truex Jr. in the 78 will face the 22 of Joey Logano, who is representing Team Penske in the 22. So let's go ahead and get started with Stage 3. The brothers face off, the 41 versus the 18. 41 gets a jump. 18 can't come back. And Kurt Busch is headed to the final of Stage 3 to compete for his first win of the year. Now the 78 versus the 22. 22 gets a big jump on the 78, but he hauls it back in for the win. Martin Truex Jr. will look for his second win of the season here at Charlotte. So as we mentioned, Martin Truex Jr. is going for a second win. It would be his second at mile-and-a-half tracks this year. We've been to 2 so far. Meanwhile, Kurt Busch has had a very different season. He's struggled in the beginning, but he's come on late here to make a playoff push. He looks to get a win here today. 41 versus 78. We're off. It's neck and neck to the finish line. What a race! Martin Truex Jr. wins. Let's go to replay. Upon further review, though, it looks like Kurt Busch actually finished first. We're going to have to go ahead and re-race, it looks like, what the ruling's going to be here. That was an incredible race. Truex got the light. Here we go again. Kurt Busch with the early lead. Truex comes back, but it says Kurt Busch won. The finish line does. But you can see clearly Truex had the lead. We're re-racing again. Absolute pandemonium here at Charlotte. Third tries the charm, and it looks like Kurt Busch is going to get it done and get the win. What a finish here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. This is one for the ages. We had to re-race twice. Kurt Busch won the first race, but it was awarded to Martin Truex Jr., and then Martin Truex Jr. won the second race, but the light was given to Kurt Busch. That was absolute madness. Kurt Busch gets his first win of his NASCAR Hot Wheels Cup Series career and his first win of the season. He's chase bound. What a finish. So congratulations to Kurt Busch and his crew chief. It was an absolutely fantastic race. One of the greatest finishes we'll ever probably see on the NASCAR Hot Wheels Cup Series. But hey, it's only season 1. Here's a look at the chase standings. Logano is in first with 3 wins. Kurt Busch adds his name to the top 6 with that first win of the season. Meanwhile, Chase Elliott is at 27 points. Brad Keselowski at 29 points. They're the first 2 out. Kyle Larson is the last one in at 31 points. Austin Dillon, who did not race today because he was not one of the fastest 16 cars in qualifying, is at 32 points and just ahead of it. This day hurt him heavily. Ryan Newman, that first round loss, hurt him as well. He's at 38. You take a look at our wins for the season. We have our 6th winner. Joey Logano, Kyle Busch, Martin Truex, Ryan Blaney, Kevin Harvick, and Kurt Busch have all won this season. Meanwhile, let's take a look at the playoff standings. Joey Logano is at 23 points. We have our second car in double digits with Martin Truex Jr., and it looks like Kurt Busch jumps to 5th with his win today. He's at 6 playoff points behind his brother Kyle. So thank you guys all for watching from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next week from Darlington Raceway.